Imagine having just hours to prepare for the most important test of your life, but instead, you get roped into a party that lasts the whole weekend. Sounds wild, right? Well, that's exactly what happened to these four college buddies, and it led to one of the biggest lessons they'd ever learn. These four college buddies were practically inseparable. These guys loved to have fun, maybe a little too much. One weekend, instead of studying for a big test coming up on Monday, they met some friends in the neighborhood who convinced them to come to a party. Just for a short time, they said. But the party turned out to last the whole weekend. There was music, laughter, and no time for studying. By the end of the weekend, they were exhausted and knew they were in big trouble. Morning came and panic set in. They knew they were doomed for the test. That's when they hatched a desperate plan. They decided to make themselves look like they had been through a rough night. They got dirty, messed up their clothes, and walked into the dean's office looking completely worn out. "Sir," one of them said, feigning exhaustion, "we had a flat tire on the way back from a wedding last night." Another added, "We had to push the car for miles. And now we're completely exhausted and unprepared for the test," said the third friend, adding to the act. The dean listened with a thoughtful expression on his face. He nodded and said calmly, "I understand. These things happen. You can retake the test in 3 days." The friends were overjoyed. They thanked the dean profusely and left his office feeling like they had just pulled off the greatest escape. For the next 3 days, they hit the books hard, determined to ace the retest. They studied night and day, confident that they were ready for anything. 3 days later, they returned to the dean's office, brimming with confidence. The dean smiled knowingly and said, "Since this is a special retest, you'll each take it in a separate room." The friends agreed, thinking they had this in the bag. But when they sat down and looked at the test paper, their faces fell. There were only 2 questions. Your name? Which tire burst? They realized their lie had been exposed. Their attempt to avoid responsibility had backfired spectacularly. They had been outsmarted. The moral of the story? Honesty and hard work are the true keys to success. Shortcuts might seem tempting, but in the end, it's always better to face the consequences and learn from your mistakes. And so, remember, my friends, if you ever find yourself in a tight spot, always choose the path of honesty. It's the only road that leads to true success. If you find value in this story, please like, share, comment, and subscribe for more.